Wow, we made it. Good morning. Joan, it's so wonderful to hear you speak this morning. Your wisdom and inspiration have touched everyone in this room in such a compelling way. Thank you again for being with us today. Welcome, friends and colleagues. It's a privilege to bring you together for what we hope will be a big day. Our sponsors, we are greatly appreciative. Extra thanks to Bill and the entire McGraw-Hill staff. Oh my God, you have no idea how complicated this all has been, but the computers have arrived, I think. I'll be acknowledging others later, but let me just also say thank you, and they may not hear me, to my crack center staff, led by Dixie Chang, Ann Tai, David Lowenstein, Carly Schuler. You've heard from all of them multiple times. We made it, guys. Can you put the agenda on? So on screen here is an overview of the day. I hope it's coming. In this first session, we're releasing the results of 3 inquiries, and copies of these inquiries are within your massive packets at your tables. First, I'm going to provide a quick overview of a paper we're calling the Cooney Challenge, the center's findings from what we are calling our listening tour. We conducted with thought leaders from around the country. We asked them one essential question: how can emerging media help elementary school children learn the literacy skills they need in an interconnected world? You'll then hear from Jim Steyer, CEO of Common Sense Media, who's going to report on an exciting national survey we released yesterday to better understand what parents and educators think about the potential of digital media to advance children's learning. His presentation will be followed by James Paul G., Professor of Literacy Studies at Arizona State University, who's written what I think is a very provocative, very interesting paper entitled Getting Over the Slump. We have a slump to get over, more than one. Innovation Strategies to Promote Children's Learning. We're in for what I hope will be a real treat. Following this session, we'll discuss the reports and their implications with the help of 2 outstanding, extraordinary journalists, Claudia Wallace and Lisa Guernsey, who will moderate panels intended to chew over the new reports, to offer complementary and perhaps contradictory data for us all to consider. The agenda is jam-packed, so we will gently but firmly remind presenters to stay on time. In fact, my colleague David Lowenstein has flashcards, and he's seated by and he will be bringing a drum roll to let you know when the hook is going to come out. We're simulcasting also, everyone, to a web audience. So thanks to our wonderful partners at Global Kids, we're going to be getting folks from Second Life and online into the mix later on today. A few ground rules you should know. We'll have short breaks for setup between panels and a substantial one for lunch, but you will need to find time on your own to take other breaks as needed this morning. During lunch, we'll have the honor, I hope, of hearing from Congressman George Miller, who is here today, and we're delighted to have him, and we'll be hearing an exciting keynote from Bing Gordon, Electronic Arts' Chief Creative Officer. We're also in for a little special announcement from Mattel. You'll note the presence later on of many young people filtering in throughout the day. These digital experts will serve as guides and mentors to all of us as they demonstrate cutting-edge literacy and learning practices that are being developed here in the U.S. and indeed around the world. The first report that we're releasing today, you can put up the new slide, is in your packets, entitled The Power of POW-WAM, Children, Digital Media, and Our Nation's Future. We're calling it the Cooney Challenge. Written by Rima Shore of Bank Street College, the paper draws on interviews with many of you and dozens of other thought leaders, and it also includes a review of relevant research on digital media and learning. We asked experts about the phenomenon of gameplay and a wide range of digital tools such as social networking, sites, virtual worlds, podcasts, digital books. We focused our discussions on elementary school kids who have tended to receive much less attention in this domain than preschoolers and adolescents. We emerged with 3 challenges that are all interrelated. We believe that all of them must be addressed if we were to realize the full potential, even a sliver of the full potential of digital media to accelerate children's learning. The first challenge has to do with research and the lack of a coherent R&D agenda in our country for digital media. Rarely has a phenomenon affecting children been so pervasive and powerful, you all told us, yet so poorly understood. One interviewee, Shali Fish, noted, "We are the Jetsons. Our children are growing up in a world where their toys obey them and their parents converse with the family car." Unfortunately, our inquiry concluded when it comes to understanding the impact of digital media and their potential to benefit kids, we're more like the Flintstones. Most of the important questions about the impact of digital media on children's development have yet to be addressed. Sustained research, our report concludes, across diverse disciplines, is needed to shed light on the potential benefits and risks of digital media for children of different ages, backgrounds, and learning profiles. We need to know more about how children choose media experiences, about the impact of adult guidance of those experiences, and about interventions that might buffer negative effects or reinforce positive ones. Given the rise of social networks and gaming communities, we need studies not only of individual youngsters, but also of networks and communities of children. Finally, we need to know more about the unintended consequences associated with the use of digital media in and out of school. Are gains in one area of cognitive or social or emotional development accompanied by losses in others? As children learn to create, mash up, and remix digital media, will they lose a sense of what is authentic and credible? So important research efforts are, of course, underway by many of the pioneers here in this room today, and many digital media designers are working hard to develop educational uses for the new platforms, but these initiatives are scattered and fragmented. The report argues for a new national priority to convene the right expertise, to establish the state of the art, to coordinate the needed research enterprise in a strategic way. Our respondents also suggested a public dissemination effort to inform key sectors and the public about what is proven and, frankly, what is promising. Not that much that's proven. The second challenge relates to the need to reconceive and rethink literacy and learning together for the 21st century. Our respondents contemplated, what does it mean to be educated? What is learning in today's digital interconnected world? What should children know and be able to do by the time they enter the middle grades? In a global interconnected world, the consensus was that it remains vitally important for children to master and enjoy reading. That is essential. The educational leaders we consulted stressed 4 key areas for investment in research and program development around foundational literacy. First, how can digital media be used to spread proven practices in new ways, providing support to adults who get kids ready for lifelong reading? Second, how can digital media be deployed to motivate children to read more? Third, how can digital media help kids gain the vocabulary and the essential background knowledge needed to make sense of text? And finally, can digital media help special learners succeed in reading? Our respondents also strongly suggested that in the 21st century, traditional literacies are crucial, they're necessary, but they're not sufficient. In addition to the 3 R's, our respondents put great emphasis on 4 gateway skills that children should be exposed to beginning in the early grades. Critical thinking and listening, the ability to understand increasingly complex systems, participation in collaborative learning communities. Education has become much more of a team sport these days, and knowledge about other countries and cultures to help them understand the global world they will inherit. To develop these new skills, perspectives, and knowledge, several action steps were suggested. Respondents argued that one promising way to retool the country's reading enterprise is to finally use digital media to attack the 4th grade slump. We heard that a new effort to reconceptualize literacy for the digital age is overdue. Standards, assessments, teaching practices are in urgent need of modernization. More on these key issues in a few minutes from James Paul G. Final challenge, equity. We need to advance digital equity, reaching all of today's children with the most powerful tools available. From the moment computers were introduced into schools in the 1980s, many individuals and groups have worried that technology would widen the achievement gap. Children attending low-performing schools continue to have, unfortunately, the least access to digital media. Our respondents noted that much more must be done to overcome the old digital divide. But at the same time, decision makers need to focus on a new digital divide. This divide stems from disparities in the kinds of guidance that children currently receive from adults to support basic literacy and the use of new digital tools. As Susan Newman will report later on this morning, children from lower income households are more dependent upon scaffolding by people at places such as schools, libraries, and community centers. Narrowing the new digital divide will take coordinated action by many players. So some of our respondents suggested that we need a new vision to help advance digital equity today, suggesting the creation of vital digital or technology resources centers in every community. Others suggested a laser-like focus on preparing the next generation of teachers to better harness the potential of the new tools, because the current generation cannot teach what they do not know. So to sum up, these three broad challenges are in many ways unremarkable. The need for more relevant and probing research, the importance of a new approach to literacy learning, particularly for vulnerable kids, and the integration of engaging media in school and in community settings. These are not new ideas, but many respondents were hopeful that in the increasing powerful way of innovation that's underway in the digital media space, we may all be able to catch this wave. We genuinely hope that today's symposium will help start a new conversation about the as yet untapped power of digital media. Drawing on Joan's inspiration, can we help incite a new learning revolution